let me share with you a little bit about the citizenship process. I won't go back as to like when the application began and what happened after that. That'll be too long. But it's a very long process. Takes money. Takes time. It's tough. It's not easy. And so people ask me, like, how long is it? Is it tough? I say, yeah. But that is exactly how it should be. Because each person you admit into the United States has to be vetted. You have to know who you're letting in. If you give that person citizenship, before that you have to know, okay, from the time of admission to the administering of the oath, at which point you become a citizen, has this person done wrong things? Has this person led a good life, followed the law, be a morally upright, good person? And those are all important things. So yes, this process is supposed to be long and tough, because at the end of the day, you do everything right, you are a US citizen. You're a citizen of the most powerful country in the world. So here are some little interesting facts, fun facts. There's a question on the citizenship form, and I'm paraphrasing everything, I don't have the questions memorized, but it asks you, have you ever been arrested, comma, cited, comma, detained by law enforcement? It's a longer question, but I'm just giving you a short piece. Okay, you have never been arrested, you have never been detained by law enforcement, but let's say you've had a traffic citation. How do you answer that question? Just because you've never been arrested or detained, do you say no? No, you're going to have to say yes, because you have been cited. And then you explain what the citation was. So you answer yes. In my case, I had a traffic ticket, and so I had to go to the municipal building and get a certified copy from the clerk that yes, this was my traffic violation and I have paid the fine and that there was nothing outstanding, all the dues are paid for, and then attach that copy with my citizenship application. Because I answered yes. And then there's a question, how many days, 24 hours or longer, have you spent outside the US during the last 5 years? You have to keep track of where you went, what you did, how many days you spent. How many trips did you take outside the US in the last 5 years? A trip meaning 24 hours or longer. Have you ever been declared legally incompetent or been confined to a mental institution? Have you ever been a member of or in any way associated either directly or indirectly with the Communist Party? Have you ever been convicted of a crime or offense? Have you ever failed to support dependents or pay alimony? And these are just a fraction of the questions. You can look at the form, it's available on the website, and look at all the questions. And the answer could be a simple yes, no, and then explain. But in order to answer those questions properly, and you're doing it all under the penalty of perjury, so you can be wrong, can make a mistake. But how much of record keeping you have to do, how much of details you have to pay attention to. Have you ever claimed yourself to be a non-resident? Because if you're a permanent resident, you can't say I'm a non-resident. Have you ever voted in any election? No room for error. And honesty is the best policy. You have to be honest. So it's a rigorous process. It's a tough process. It's a long process. Even somebody who has everything in order may still want to consult an attorney just to make sure, for a second set of eyes, that there's no error. And then you pay the appropriate fees. You go through a biometric, exam. You go through an English test, and a civics test where you answer basic questions. And then, if everything goes well, you get a notice that your oath will be administered on such and such day in such and such location. You go take your oath. Welcome to America, you're a US citizen now. And that's how it should be. So going back to the broader picture of what's going on in the world, in the country right now, we have people coming illegally. If there's no consequence, or little consequence, or lack of enforcement of immigration laws, what that does is it would create incentives for other people to do so. And believe me, there are people who won't have to cross the border. Somebody could get a tourist visa legally, come to the US, and never leave. So we have to understand that it's not just about the southern border, but we have to enforce the laws. We have to hold those who break the laws accountable so that there are no incentives for other people, even those who are coming here legally on temporary visas, to stay back. And so